Hey Doug, how you doing? All right, here's what I have so far. The only thing I have not been able to do is the wireframes, but I should have those posted by Friday. I should have those by Friday. Please look at them and let me know what you think so far. I always psych myself out on these kinds of projects, and I think it's not good enough, or I've completely missed them. I do the same thing. I do the exact same thing. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. I think you're in a good spot. I really do. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so you have statement of intent, the problem, the solution, competition, storyboarding. Then you have your demographics. You got some nice research going on here too. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what is required so we can determine what is missing. And to do that, I'm going to jump right over here to the course announcement. Welcome to week 2. Down here in welcome to week 2, we can see the deliverables right here to clarify the project thus far. So remember we did that research last week, and in some of the preliminary stages, we determined the target audience, 3 main functions for the app competitors. You want to include that stuff in your process book. I mean, it's all part of, like, the process book. You should add to the process book everything that we've worked on in subsequent weeks, so that when it comes time to finalize the process book, it'll be a relatively simple process of basic editing, right? So you want to make sure that you include all of that stuff in your process book, the target audience, 3 main functions, okay? And then we jump over to, let me see, so you have statement, problem, solution. Then you go to competition. This is really good that you've included the competition. It looks like, I think there's only one com. So it looks like it's this com right here. It's difficult. I can't tell if these are 2 different apps or oh, Headspace. Yeah, label those. Label those. And I recommend doing 3 competitors. And in your competition, I would do this. Include the pros and cons of the visual interface, the function of the app, and its usability. So you're not only, so give the pros and cons of each of those 3 factors for 3 different competitors. Okay, then we move to personas and scenarios, and you've got your personas set up quite nicely, I might add. But I think in terms of logical progression, I think it would be wise to place the personas before the scenario, since the scenarios are basically kind of addressing the individuals identified in the personas. Okay, so you would go personas, then you would go scenarios. And don't forget to write up the scenario too. So you have a persona. This is your persona established. The scenario would be a written description of how the persona is interacting with the app. So in other words, the scenario could depict exactly what's going on in the storyboard in a verbal sense. Okay, so you have personas, then you have scenarios written out, and then you have storyboarding, which visually depicts the scenario, right? And over here in the examples and in the course announcement, I've also included this week 2 assignment examples. These are really good, but I want to show you a really neat presentation of storyboarding. This is cool because it gives the scenario without using the app, and then shows how the problem presented in the scenario is overcome with using the app. I think that's a really great approach. Okay, then we have wireframe sketches for all screens. That's really important. And then storyboards for each scenario. And of course, I recommend 3 scenarios with 3 personas, meaning that you should have 3 storyboards. Create paper prototypes and post for critique. And that's important, really important that you include your paper prototypes, because we're going to jump right into user testing next week. What you want to do in that regard is you want to make sure that all of your screens, let me show you an example. And again, this is an example from the week 2 assignment examples. This is example 1, and I want to show you, these are paper prototypes. Okay, so they're actually, each screen is sketched out, and then you have the prototype of the phone. All right, so and then in your testing, what you would do is you would switch out the screens as you're testing subject makes correct or incorrect decisions, you would switch out the screen by replacing the paper with the screen, the sketch of this that indicates the next logical screen. So in other words, if in your testing stage, you would say, okay, so where would you click to set up your profile? And if they click in the right spot, then you would change the screen to the profile where they would set it up. If they get it wrong, you would record that in your notes and keep that for future reference, because if maybe 3 out of 5 test subjects get it wrong, you're going to want to make a change, right? Even 2 out of 5 get it wrong, you might want to make a change. Okay, and that's all covered in the announcements in the course. In the videos located in the course resources. So you definitely want to watch those. So theoretically, what you could do is these are wireframes. So these are the wireframes of the sketches. These have enough detail in them that you can go ahead and transpose these right into your paper prototypes. You see what I'm saying? And then eventually your wireframes will look like, your digital wireframes would be more of a depiction of the screens. So something like that, right? But for now, you want your sketched wireframes and then transpose those into your paper prototype so we can see how your testing session will go. Right? I hope that makes sense. So that's what we're looking for. I'd like to see that stuff reflected in your submission for Sunday. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. One more thing I want to address is your personas. I think that we could use a wider array here of personas. So basically, you've got only 12 years difference between your personas. So the oldest is only 12 years older than the youngest. I would really get a diverse age range as well as a diverse experience, diverse educational range. So one could be like a doctoral or a PhD. One could be a high school education. The other could be a bachelor's, let's say, or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Then you have, let me see, a professional hospital, professional sales, so these are all basically professional fields. So customer service rep, maybe not, but then maybe that's more of a service field. But maybe get somebody, I guess the point I'm trying to make is just trying to be as completely diverse as possible with these personas. That's really what your goal is in personas, is just to show a comparison and analysis of how extremely different demographic groups can benefit from using your app. Okay, so other than that, I think it's a great start. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, any of the above at all, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to make any necessary clarifications. Doug, great start. Thank you very much.